Give me the boys. I'm going to lay the number. We're at 17 now. BetMGM. I don't care.
We damn
Even though
boys.
even though I just said low total, you take the dog. Here's the thing. I don't know that the Giants are getting to 7 in this game. So I cannot do that. I expect the Cowboys to roll. Maybe they go to Matt Barkley at some point. How many times are they going to cross the 50? Not quite sure. The Giants defense has been playing better, but it doesn't matter because they can't score any points with DeVito. You know, we talked with Aaron Schatz the other day. We were going over how the Giants are by far, according to his numbers, the worst team in football. And guys, a lot of that was before DeVito. Like that was with QB1 and QB2. And now they have DeVito and they're dead last at net yards per play. Like there's nothing positive that you could say about the Giants. And I'm fine laying the 17. Another angle that I find interesting, this tear that Lamb is on, 191, 158, 117. Guys, the last 2 weeks, Lamb has had 30 targets. 30 targets over the last couple of games. Do we expect that to stop now? The prop is 77 and a half. That is way too short. That's way too short for Lamb.
Getting Debo, getting Trent Williams back. They added Chase Young. But what are they going to look like? If you're not going to bet on this, Joe, I'm going to get wild and crazy here and take a stand. Give me the Jags. I know it sounds crazy that this Niners team would lose 4 in a row, but why not? Travis Etienne, he's really good. Arguably, he might be the second best back in the league behind Christian McCaffrey. Jacksonville, let's just do it. They're going to make a statement at home. Niners are going to lose 4 straight. It's time. This is what they did last year. Jags are taking off. I know Paul's with me on this. And the Jags defense. Sorry, I buried the lead. Better than the Niners. They are going to make life difficult for Brock Purdy. I'm going to stay away from a side. I know I mentioned I like the Commanders, but it's not going to be one of my plays when we get to them in lightning bets. What I do like, though, is I have a feeling that Kenneth Walker will have a big game. His rushing prop is 64.5. And why I think he should have a game is the Commanders have allowed over 1,000 rushing yards this season. So I think over 64.5, he's gone over that almost 5 times because one time he had 64. It's probably somewhat of a sharp number, but I think against this Commanders defense, he should be able to go over that mark, Ed.
That certainly makes a lot of sense. Definitely like the process there. You know, what's interesting to me is reputationally, and I know I've mentioned this kind of all week long, but reputationally, yeah, Washington traded away a couple of key pass rushers, but I don't necessarily label them as tankers, unlike, say, the Cardinals or the Giants or teams like that. I still feel like Washington still has a puncher's chance to do something and win some football games. And a lot of that, and you guys have talked about it, is the Eric Bieniemy factor. I think Sam Howell, he's looking more like the athlete we thought he could look like. And part of that is, okay, if you really trust your athleticism to be able to get out of harm's way, well, that could lead to a lot of sacks. I think it's largely what we've seen, but he's getting better at this stuff. So the Sam Howell upward trajectory, I think, matters a great deal. I still trust this Washington pass rush, despite the fact that they've lost some key guys. And if they're able to at least cause enough pressure, then that may limit what Geno Smith can do as far as play action passing, because he needs the time to develop play action for him to be successful. If that doesn't happen, then I think Washington can make this a close football game. The number is at +6.5. Guess what, guys? I'm going to move it down to Washington +3.5. This is my alternate spread of the week.
Go all in. Money line. Money line. Come on. Do it. Money line? No? Okay.
The graphic says alternate spread. Like that's what it says.
I'm just asking. I'm asking if you can just say no.
That's what I'm going to
say. No, then. Say no.
I'll pass. Respectfully.
Money line. Money line. No money line.
Wow.
You know, for something with a lot of fanfare, it really crashed and burned there, didn't it?
I was not expecting it. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know anything about it. He scored a goal.
He shoots, he scores!
Goal!
For me, Quentin Johnston, everything is kind of adding up because not only the opportunity, led the Chargers in routes run last week in his first game without Josh Palmer, but now we've seen out of their bye, albeit against the Jets and the Bears, the Chargers offense, Tommy DeVito has a higher depth of target these past 2 weeks than Justin Herbert. They've kind of gone back to their old ways. Everyone has always said that, oh, like it's no longer Joe Lombardi, it's Kellen Moore. That's not how professional football works. We know that. What happens is Justin Herbert looks up, he sees Jalen Guyton, and he says, hell no. And he throws to Austin Eckler instead. That's how depth of targets work. You still need the talent to get downfield. And now we've seen since week 4, without Mike Williams, their best downfield receiver, Justin Herbert's 20th in yards per attempt. He's completed less than 60% of his passes in 4 of the last 5 games. And I know that's a backwards way to say I think Quentin Johnston can succeed, but the fact is, and Ed knows this, Johnston was not a good downfield receiver at TCU. He was one of the nation's worst, actually. The way you utilize him is like big Brandon Ayuk. He averaged 7.7 yards after the catch per reception at TCU. And so if we now are integrating this offense to get the ball out quickly just to move the chains, that's how Johnston succeeds. Otherwise, he gets incorrectly pigeonholed in the league like Chase Claypool, who has also been one of the league's worst contested catch options downfield for his entire career. So 6'3", 208, but he does need to be used like Brandon Ayuk, and I think it can work this way. So opportunity plus the Jets. That's the whole point with the Chargers offense too, right? Is that the Jets have stifled everyone they've played. Patrick Mahomes, league low passing yards. Jalen Hurts, they got to him with 3 picks. Josh Allen had 3 picks. They even stopped Tua. The Jets defense stopped everyone, so that's no big deal. I don't worry about Quentin Johnston bouncing back. Now for this game against Detroit, for futures for Detroit, I still worry because the 2 times they've been asked, like the Dolphins, to compete against playoff contenders, they failed. Geno Smith threw for 328 and 2 touchdowns in week 2. And then a couple weeks ago, Lamar Jackson got him for over 303 touchdowns. But because of everything I just said, I don't think the Chargers are the offense to really take advantage and like exploit the Lions' defensiveness here. Also, the Chargers have been playing zone coverage at the 10th highest rate of their defensive snaps. And Jared Goff this year has been awesome against zone coverage. 70% completion rate, tied with Kirk Cousins for a league-high 8 touchdowns against zone coverage too. So I really like the Lions just kind of do whatever they want against the Chargers, and I think the number's too low, honestly.
Only 4 catches last week, but he targeted Hopkins 11 times against that Steelers secondary. 59.5 yards? Really? 59.5 yards against this Bucs secondary? Yeah, like that's a good look for Hopkins. Hopkins scoring anytime touchdown. I see a plus 190 out there. That's a good look. So I'll be back in the Titans in a few ways, guys.
Listen, if Will Levis goes over his passing prop, Joe, I'll get an arm tat for Monday and just flex all day.
Let's go.
What a
212
bet.
and a half. Are you, so you're saying it's not happening, or are you with it? Is this what
No,
you're gonna be
I
rooting
love
for?
it. I'm with it.
Okay.
I low-key want it. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Okay.
I like Will Levis. Now, his arm tat, as I said, is slightly obnoxious, but the guy backs it up.